The Man Without Fear is back from the graveyard of cancelled Netflix shows, and despite my reservations, and a lot of tinkering during production, was actually pretty good. Good fights, brutal violence, Catholic self-inflicted suffering. This show's got it all. It may even have some political commentary, whether it meant to or not. I wonder if I'll have anything to say about that. Let's get into it. Before I get into anything philosophical or political, let's talk about the show itself. I was worried going into this show that it wouldn't be allowed to be as brutal as it was before with its move from Netflix to Disney+, but I was mostly proven wrong. See how easy that is to admit that you were wrong on the internet? Crazy. The few fights that there were continued to be brutal, and Punisher got to say fuck like every other word. It was great. I just wish there was more. The show did lose a bit of its grimy look, but I'm going to chalk that up to a bigger budget and newer technology like the volume. I do miss the long, rough oneers, but it doesn't really get more gruesome than seeing Kingpin crush a man's head like a watermelon between Ify Nwadiwe's thighs with his bare hands. Another reason I was nervous was because of the trouble I had heard about them having during production. This usually spells doom for a show, but it seems they used their time wisely, tightening the story and streamlining the characters. From what I understand, this rewriting included the decision to kill Foggy in the first episode, and, while I hate to see my boy go out like that, it worked for me. It gave Matt real internal conflict as he struggled to contain the fear of going too far again. It gave Karen a reason not to be in most of the show, and most importantly, it gave Matt a plot thread to tug near the end of the season. Plus, it's much better than the alternative that they flirted with as the show went on, fridging Matt's new girlfriend Heather. Instead, they went with a much more interesting option of having her turn to Fisk, which sets up a way more intriguing plot possibilities if you ask me. There were some rewriting and reshoot seams that were visible though. For example, I could have used more Muse, and it's a shame that they died. I could have also used more Punisher, but at least we'll have that special presentation coming in October, which I am very excited for. Hopefully it's more of him just saying fuck 12 with all the weapons he can loot. The reworking did give us a fun bottle episode though, as Matt starts slipping into his vigilante ways during a bank heist. I know it's really fan servicey or whatever, but I loved him interacting with Kamala Khan's dad. I really want to see these characters interact more and more in the MCU. That shit works on a dork like me. Where was Spider-Man during the Blackout? Or Doctor Strange? I want to see them all hang out so bad. Speaking of which, this show does beg the question, will they be bringing back the other Netflix characters? I really liked all those shows with the obvious exception of Iron Fist, which had such a bad first season that even a decent second season couldn't pull it out of the hole it had dug. I would love to see them all back and integrated into the MCU proper, but I fear the time for that might be up as these actors age a bit. We will certainly see, or at least I hope so. You can never be too sure, seeing as the season ended not with a big fight, as it felt like it was building towards, but instead a lot of cliffhangers. This has me worried all over again, but from what I understand they are already shooting season 2, so let's hope for some answers soon, and not yet another set of dangling plot lines in the MCU. Aside from all that, what I found most interesting about the show was its possibly unintended message. Yeah, you thought this was just a review of a TV show, but I'm sneaking in some leftist shit in here, bucko. Kingpin, seemingly to his wife and fellow crime bosses, gives up on a life of crime to go straight and be mayor. But what they don't realize is, the state is just another gang, but with paperwork, aka legitimacy. What Fisk craves above all else is power and control. He never wants to be under the thumb of anyone like he was when he was a boy, again. But no matter how much power you have, you always want more. So why be a kingpin in the shadow, dodging the law, when you could be the mayor and run one of the biggest gangs of them all, the NYPD? I have a working theory that money and power are like mass. The more of it you have, the more you attract. The more money you make, the more money you're able to make. The more power you have, the more power you're able to seize. Until, that is, you collapse under your own weight, when the center just cannot hold. The tension this expansion of power creates is why capitalist countries hate competition, whether that's from socialist communist countries that they invade, coup, blockade, etc., or from rival organized criminals like cartels, which practice rugged capitalist schemes without the handicap of laws and regulations. The morality of these gangs isn't a consideration, only that these people are cutting into their turf. The idea of vigilantes are just an extension of that conflict. The state's power comes from, at least according to Max Weber, its monopoly on violence. Really, their power comes from our consent to their monopoly on violence. If someone is doing something you don't like, and you knock them out, you're in trouble. If someone is doing something the state doesn't like, a cop will shoot them and be fine. All in the name of keeping the public safe. We have seen this in action with the recent killing of a healthcare CEO. What was the difference between the violence enacted on him as opposed to the violence he enacted every day? Paperwork. When someone in a mass starts using violence to keep their neighbors safe, better than the state, it erodes their power simply by eroding people's belief in that power. But it's not really eroding their power, is it? It's actually people taking the power they handed over to the state back for themselves. Have I said the word power enough yet? We see this in the real world with a harsh crackdown on anything that subverts or is in competition with the state power. Be it mutual aid orgs like Food Not Bombs or unions, or even community defense like what the Black Panthers were doing. Anything that does not participate in capitalism and refuses to cede the collective's power to the institutions that desire it is seen as a threat. It all undermines the illusion of their legitimacy. That might be a lesson worth learning in this day and age. Okay, I guess that's enough lecturing for the day. What'd you think of the return of Daredevil? Are you excited for more? Should they bring back the other Marvel Netflix heroes? Let me know in the comments below, and, as always, death to the algorithm.
Death to the algorithm. Death to the algorithm. Death to the algorithm. Death to the algorithm.
Hello. Say hi. My name is Valentina, and I'm a piss baby.